In this video, I'll be counting down the top 10 Pokemon that were released to Pokemon GO in 2022. This year was actually really good in terms of Pokemon releases. While there was a lot of back and forth regarding player sentiment towards the game, we at least have to give Niantic credit on how they handled a lot of Pokemon getting added into the game. We had Alolan Region Pokémon, Ultra Beasts, Mega Evolutions, and a ton of noteworthy legendaries arrive in Pokemon GO. So for this video, I'll be talking about a bunch of Pokemon that you should definitely get. Keep in mind that a lot of Pokemon were added to the game compared to previous years, thus some of the entries on this top 10 list will be groups of Pokemon, as they are just as good as each other. Now if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you do, you're going to get crazy shiny luck and hundo luck for each of the Pokemon on this list. Trust me on that, I spoke to Arceus directly, so it is confirmed 100%. Alright, now that I got that out of the way, let's get right into the list. Coming in at number 10, we have the Alola pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Kommo-O. This dragon and fighting type Pokemon is the final evolved form of the super rare and super valuable Jangmo-O. Coming across any of these in the wild always felt like a landmark to the average player, and it is very reminiscent of Dratini spawns back when Pokemon GO first came out. But alongside its rarity, Kommo-O is actually a really decent Pokemon to have. Whether you are looking for a solid raid attacker, something good for the Ultra and Master Leagues, or you just want a Pokemon to brag about with your friends, Kommo-O definitely fits that bill. Eventually, this Pokemon won't be seen as rare as it is now, but until that day arrives, this is definitely one of the best trophies to have in your collection. Coming in at number 9, we have the Alola legendary Pokemon, Tapu Fini. This Pokemon is widely considered as the Azumarill of the Ultra League. It has the rare type combination of Water and Fairy, and it has very stellar moves that can deal with most of the meta Pokemon in the Ultra League. While getting one with close to ideal IVs for the Ultra League can prove to be quite difficult, it is still a worthy Pokemon to have in your collection. It will most certainly make an impact on your PvP gameplay. Next up, we have the first of many Ultra Beasts on this list, and it is going to be Buzzwole. Yet another really good Ultra League Pokemon, Buzzwole has definitely created a lot of buzz in Pokemon GO's competitive PvP scene. While it may not be any useful in raids, this intimidating Pokemon can be a really solid pick in various leagues of the Go Battle League. If you can get a Buzzwole with low enough IVs and levels, you might be able to use it in the Great League with much success. However, the Ultra League is where this Pokemon will shine the most. This is definitely a high valuable Pokemon, especially for battlers. Now coming in at number 7, we got another Ultra Beast, Kartana. Contrary to Buzzwole's relevance in the Go Battle League, Kartana is extremely relevant for PvE. As of right now, it is the absolute best non-Mega and non-Shadow Grass type raid attacker. It has the powerful type combination of Grass and Steel, and a stellar moveset on top of it. Since awesome grass types are not abundant in Pokemon GO, the addition of this Pokemon certainly changes things with raid bosses that are weak against grass. Even so, Kartana is still a very solid neutral damage raid attacker, so its impact on the gameplay is certainly felt once you get it. If you happen to get yourself a really good IV of this Ultra Beast, you absolutely must power it up as much as possible. Next up at number 6, we have yet another Ultra Beast that is solid for PvE, and it is Xurkitree. Now right before the Ultra Beasts were introduced into the game, many top players speculated that Xurkitree would make a huge splash into the raid meta. That is because this Pokemon has incredible stats that are tailor-made for raiding. The only caveat that players were concerned with was regarding what moves this Pokemon would get. Well, Niantic did us a solid by giving Xurkitree a serviceable move pool for raids. Xurkitree with Thundershock and Discharge is quite possibly the absolute best non-Mega and non-Shadow Electric type raid attacker. Much like what Kartana does for grass types, Xurkitree does for electric. However, becoming the top raid attacker for electric types is a much more admirable feat, as there are a ton of really good electric type Pokemon already in the game, whereas there were very few grass types. Needless to say, this Ultra Beast is a must-have Pokemon. Alright, so with Xurkitree, that will cover all of the most notable Ultra Beasts that were added into Pokemon GO this year. While each of the Ultra Beasts will have some sort of relevance in different aspects of Pokemon GO, I would make the argument that the 3 that I mentioned in this video are the most useful. But now, let's switch gears over to Mega Evolutions that we got this year. We had a plethora of Megas get introduced into the game, yet only a few of them really stand out. We are on the cusp of getting the primal forms of Kyogre and Groudon, which are predicted to be similar to Mega Evolutions. Thus, they are likely going to be extremely difficult raids. Fortunately, we have a bunch of Megas that we can bring to those raid battles, and a lot of them were introduced in 2022. The first of these that I want to talk about, and coming in at number 5 on this list, is going to be the Mega Hoenn starters. These include Mega Swampert, Mega Sceptile, and Mega Blaziken. Now, I totally get that this entry is kind of a cheat, as it is not one singular Pokemon. However, the usefulness of these 3 Megas are pretty equal across the board, depending on what you are looking for. In terms of raids, each of these Mega Evolutions are going to be among the best within their types. Mega Sceptile is going to be extremely good as a Grass type or Dragon type raid attacker, Mega Swampert is insane as a Water type or Ground type, and Mega Blaziken is going to be top tier with Fire types and Fighting types. With the imminent arrival of Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, Mega Sceptile is going to be great for both of these raid battles in terms of damage, and Mega Swampert is going to be amazing for collecting additional candies. Meanwhile, Mega Blaziken is going to be phenomenal against upcoming legendary raid bosses. Needless to say, you need to invest in all 3 of them right away. Next up, coming in at number 4, we have probably the best neutral damage Mega Evolution, and it is Mega Alakazam. This was one Mega that was widely anticipated for a long time, and its introduction into Pokemon GO in 2022 definitely shook up the raiding scene. If there were ever going to be a non-legendary Pokemon that would rival Mewtwo, it would be Mega Alakazam. What more can be said about this Pokemon? It is a Psychic-type Mega Evolution that is probably the strongest glass cannon in the game. It is extremely powerful against most legendary raid bosses, and it has plenty of type coverage against most other PvE content, like gym battles and Team Go Rocket battles. What's also great about this Mega Evolution is that it is one of the very few that will boost up the damage of Mewtwo's Psychic type attacks. Thus, having this Mega will trivialize plenty of raid bosses that are weak against Psychic. You will definitely want to make sure you have a ton of Mega Energy for this Mega Evolution. Now coming in at number 3, we have Mega Latios and Mega Latias. Both of these Mega Evolutions were released simultaneously back in May, and they were the first legendary Mega Evolutions we could get. One thing that is noteworthy is that the Mega Raids for both of these Pokemon were the most extreme and most difficult raids we've ever had. Thus, they brought back a sense of how raiding was back when it was first introduced. However, the difficulty of these raids would be appropriate for how powerful both of these Mega Evolutions are. While Mega Latios is the preferred Mega Evolution between the two, both of them are some of the most powerful Pokemon in the game right now. Until new legendary Mega Evolutions come out in the future, we can reliably use either of these Pokemon to make raid battles that much easier. Okay, that will do it for the Mega Evolutions that were released in 2022. While plenty of new Megas were released, I would say these 3 were the ones that made the most impact. But now, let's finish this video off with some super rare and really popular Pokemon that were introduced this year, even if they are not meta or top tier. Coming in at number 2, we have the 3 Galarian legendary birds. With the introduction of the Daily Adventure Incense, Niantic also introduced these 3 legendary variants of the classic legendary birds. Coming across any of them is a rare occasion, but catching them could prove to be extremely difficult. They have a very high flee rate along with a very low catch rate. Thus, you are more likely than not to see them run away whenever you encounter them. While this has caused a ton of frustration to the average player, it also means they are some of the rarest Pokemon that a player can have. Thus, you could think of them as some of the best trophy Pokemon currently in the game. Even though they won't have any significance in either raids or PvP, they are still the envy of most players because of how difficult they are to get. Alright, finally, we've arrived at the number 1 Pokemon that were released in the year 2022. It is going to be the combo of iconic legendary Pokemon, Solgaleo and Lunala. Now, both of these legendaries are extremely popular within the Pokemon community. Ever since they entered the franchise in Pokemon Sun and Moon, a lot of Pokemon GO players were anticipating their arrival into the mobile game. The way Niantic handled their release was also quite unique. given that both Solgaleo and Lunala have the unique characteristic of being evolved from another legendary Pokemon. While they both will be in raid battles sometime in the future, getting either of them now requires you to complete a long special research themed around the Pokemon Cosmog. This was not only a cool way to introduce legendaries, but also a great free-to-play way for players to get them as well. Overall, I would love to see Niantic do something like this again. I really enjoyed the experience of getting either of these Pokemon, and their introduction into Pokemon GO this year set a positive precedent for how Niantic could bring in legendaries in the future. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. We had plenty of Mega Evolutions, Legendaries, and Ultra Beasts get introduced this year. Of course, there were a ton that I didn't mention in this video. Thus, I would love to know which one you feel should have been included on this list. Let me know down below in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list, so if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.